seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here, especially my superiors like Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Smaranam Prabhu, Govind Prabhu, Sanat Kumar Prabhu, and all the other devotees from whom I learned the subtleties of spiritual life. I also offer my obeisances to my spiritual master. I heard the Shravanam and Kirtanam lectures given by the devotees previous to this Sunday feast, given by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu and Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Shyamanand Prabhu, very wonderful lectures, and I feel myself utterly unqualified to be speaking on a part of this wonderful series. Whatever good you find in my talk, you may carry home, and whatever deficiencies you may find, you may throw it away. But because I have been ordered by my superiors, I am here today. Sri Krishna Sharanam Samasta Jagatam Krishnam Vina Kagatihi Krishnena Pratihanyate Kalimalam Krishnaya Karyam Namaha Krishna Trasyati Kala Bhima Bhujago Krishnasya Sarvam Vashet Krishne Bhakti Rakhandita Bhavatu Me Bho Krishna Tvameva Ashrayah. I first of all offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, in whose lotus feet all the material and spiritual worlds are sheltered. I also offer obeisances to him, Krishnam Vina Kagatihi, means whose lotus feet are the fountainhead of all liberties. Because somebody may go to heaven and finish their punya and come back. Somebody may go to even Brahma Jyoti. In want of activity, they may fall back. But if somebody attains Krishna's lotus feet, they will never return to this world. So let me offer my obeisances to that Krishna, who is the ultimate gati for all the living beings. And I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna, whose holy names are very potent and powerful in cleansing the impurities in our heart, especially in this age of Kali, and rendering our heart clean like a mirror that is wiped with a wet cloth, and helping us to see ourselves and see our sweet relationship with Him. I also offer my obeisances to Krishna's marvelous activities, wonderful activities. Krishne Adbhuta Karmanaha, like that in Bhagavatam it is said. The activities of Krishna are all called Adbhutam. Why Adbhutam? In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Krishna ordered Arjuna to kill all the warriors by releasing his arrows, Arjuna would release the arrows on different warriors, and the arrows would go and pierce their chest. When it would pierce, it will evaporate all the sinful reactions in their bodies and render them sin-free. And then, because they were also glancing at Krishna, on one hand they became free from sin, on the other hand they were glancing at Krishna. Thus they were all transported to the spiritual sky, called as Gata Swarupam. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like in a tawa, if it is very hot, you take some water and sprinkle it, that it absorbs. Like that the sinful reactions are absorbed by the arrows sent by Arjuna. And this is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tataiva chanye naraloka veera yahave Krishna mukara vindam netre pibanto nayanabhiramam parthastra puta padamapurasya partha astra putaha. By the arrow of Arjuna, partha astra, puta, they got purified. Puta na means one who is not pure. Puta means purified. So Parthastra Puta Padam Apurasya, they went to the spiritual sky. Who is there in this world who can kill somebody and benefit them? Can any of us kill somebody and benefit them? Sometimes a doctor tries to operate somebody in the belly, and when a patient dies, everybody yells at the doctor. What have you done with the patient? Isn't it? Nobody can kill someone in this world and benefit them except Krishna, because he is apparently killing them but transporting all of them into the spiritual sky. So this is Adbhuta Karma. not only that, he is establishing dharma. Not only that, he is enjoying the loving relationship with his devotee Arjuna by riding his chariot, becoming his subordinate. Isn't it? Krishna is not like any ordinary taxi driver who gets some monthly payment. But he is doing it out of love. It's called Achyuta. So he is delighting in serving his devotee. He is also enjoying Bhishma on the opposite side, having exchange of weapons. When Bhishma is sending arrows at Krishna, which is piercing his body, Krishna is taking a wheel of a chariot and running towards Bhishma while his face is perspiring and his hair is disheveled and his body has turned ashen due to the dust while his Angavastra is flowing. He is charging at Bhishma, and Bhishma has dropped all his weapons in great love. He is welcoming the Lord to attack him. So Krishna is enjoying such a loving relation also in that battlefield. So in this way, in one stone, Krishna can get multiple mangoes in one shot. That is why he is called as a Krishnaya Karyam Namaha. I offer my namaskar to Krishna, whose activities are all wonderful. He says. And then he is telling, I also offer my obeisances to Krishna, who by becoming a devotee of Krishna, one loses fear of death. When Hiranyakashipu took his sword and came running, charging towards Prahalad, Prahalad, today I myself will kill you. Let me see whoever you keep saying about Vishnu, let him come and protect you. Prahalad did not run away from the back door. Prahalad remained in the front. Prahalad did not take another sword. Prahalad did not cry loudly to earn the sympathy of the father. Prahalad did not become angry on his father. Prahalad did not faint unconscious. But he was standing, remembering Krishna, because he became fearless by becoming a devotee of the Lord. So, Krishnatrasyati Kala Bhima Bhujago is saying, the Kala Sarpa, the serpent is chasing after everybody. You know, I saw a picture where a frog was looking at a butterfly. Slowly it was jumping nearby to catch the fly. But before the frog could catch the fly, there was a snake behind the frog who swallowed the frog. That is the situation in this world. People make multiple plans. But before the plans are executed, they are swallowed by the serpent of time. But for a devotee, this body is the last material body. So a devotee doesn't fear death at all. A devotee simply remembers Krishna and forgets fear. And Krishna is called as Abhaya Charana Ravindare. And then he says, Sarvasya Krishnam Vashet. This whole universe is in Vash of Krishna. This universe consisting of the sun and the moon and the stars and the sky and the wind and the oceans and the mountains and earth and all the living entities like Chara and Achara, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Sananas, Rakshasas, Kimpurushas, Uragas, Apsaras, Gandharvas, all of them is in Vash of Krishna. Like that, Bhishma Pitama says, Jausa Chandrarka Nakshatrakam Disho Bhur Mahodadihi Vasudevasya Viryena Vidritani Mahatmanah Sasurasura Gandharva Sayakshoraga Rakshasam Jagat Vashe Vartatedam Krishnasya Sacharacharam. So the whole Jagat is in Vash of Krishna, in control of Krishna. Like that Bhishma is telling. And then lastly, there is a address to Krishna. Jagat, and then he is saying, let there be bhakti in my heart, akhandita bhakti. Let there be in my heart. And bho Krishna tvameva ashraya. Oh Krishna, I take shelter of your lotus feet. So, the topic of Smaranam means remembrance of the Lord. This Smaranam is actually the culmination of Shravanam and Kirtanam. If Shravanam and Kirtanam is powerful, that will lead to Smaranam. That is the anticipated result when we do Shravanam and Kirtanam. And for doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, we need the help of our mind. In the early stages of our spiritual life, like right now when you are practicing chanting, everybody has experience. The moment one starts chanting, the mind starts running away, isn't it? Distraction means alternative attraction. We are not having one attraction, we have alternative attractions. You see, there was one devotee in Howrah. You all know Howrah in Calcutta? When you go to Howrah, be cautious, because in Howrah there are many thieves around in the station, looking for somebody who may foolishly forget their belongings and they can loot it. So one devotee was carrying a costly projector in the hand, and as he was walking on the road, suddenly he saw some 200-300 rupee notes flying. Then he kept the projector down and picked up those 2-3 notes. Where is it coming from? When he picked up the notes and put it in his pocket and turned around, projector was gone. So then he saw one fellow taking projector and running and boarding a auto, and he was running away. So this devotee chased and chased. After 2-3 hours of chasing, that fellow dropped the projector and ran away after that. So this is the way our mind also runs away. When we are chanting, suddenly we find mind has gone somewhere. And then when we try to, sometimes, mala may be in our hand and may be chanting also, and then gradually one stops chanting. Either one may doze away or one's mind goes away somewhere else. And then suddenly one realizes, oh, I'm sitting with the mala. Like that. So this is a very unfortunate situation which happens when we are trying to chant. And the more we hear the glories of the name, holy name, to that degree our faith in the holy name will increase, and as the faith increases, we will be able to pay attention eventually. So we hear more from the Shastras, the glories of the holy name. Just like you see Ajamila's section, Yamaraj is telling a couple of very beautiful verses. He's telling, Mriyamana Harer Nama Grinan Putropacharitam Ajamilopyagadhama Kimbuta Shraddhaya Grinan. Oh, my dear Yamakinkaras, he's telling, Mriyamana means at the time of death. This Ajamila, at the time of death, called his son Narayana. At that time, Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha, just like the children beautifully showed in the drama today, Vishnu heard that sound Narayana. And immediately he told his assistant, Nanda Sunanda, my dear servants, go immediately. Someone is calling my name. The assistants immediately checked out and told the Lord, my dear Lord, that is not you. They are calling, he is calling his own son. But the Lord was so worried about Ajamila. He said, no, give a benefit of doubt. Go again. Check it. Maybe he is calling me. So he is saying the Lord is so keen to deliver us. He is far more keen to deliver us than our interest for going back to Vaikuntha. Although that is why he is called as a Bhuri Karunaya, Namolayaya. Bhuri Karunaya means, although we repeatedly turn away from him, he keeps on inviting us, calling us, and coming after us, birth after birth, the super soul. So he is telling, if for Ajamila he showed so much interest, if somebody with Shraddha chants the holy name, how much the Lord will show interest. Namocharana mahatmyam hare pashyata putrakaha ajamilopitenaiva mrityupashadamuchyata. Hey Yamadutas, you are proud of your Yamapash which you carry with you, and you have never missed your target. But today you faced failure. When you threw your Yamapash on Ajamila, simply by Nama Ucharana Matrena, only by the Ucharana of the Nam, the Yamapash was cut and you were driven away by the Vishnudutas. And this is the power of uttering the holy name. Like that Yamaraj said. So, in this way, when we hear the pastimes of the Lord and gradually develop faith in the chanting of the holy name, then the mind is gradually likely to come under control. Coming under control doesn't mean you stop the mind. Controlling the car doesn't mean you go to the side of the road and stand there. Controlling car means you have to keep driving, hold the steering in such a way. If you have to keep left in India, or if you are in America, keep it right, wherever you are supposed to keep it. And drive it in a way that you will not hit the other vehicles. And drive it in a way you keep aware of the signals and everything, isn't it? And that is the meaning of control. Control also involves progress. Control doesn't mean stunted. Just like Krishna gives the example of a tortoise in Bhagavad Gita. He says, why tortoise? Because as soon as there is a danger, the tortoise withdraws the hands, legs and the head inside the shell. And from behind, if somebody beats it with a stick also, it won't feel any pain. But as soon as the danger is over, again it takes it out, hands, legs, and it starts progressing forward. When there is danger, again it withdraws. So we have to be like a progressive tortoise. So our mind should be progressive. That means we should control the mind to pay attention to the holy name. Hear it attentively. Now, when the mind is giving such a menace and we are unable to hear the holy name, then how to calm the mind? The Acharyas have given many ways to bring the mind to a state of from where we will be able to hear the holy name nicely and progress further. So the first thing is Shravanam, hearing. Hearing, first we have to hear the sound. Jiva Goswami Pada has given the formula how we progress in spiritual life. He is telling, first you try to hear the holy name attentively. When the attention comes, your heart starts getting purified. It is not an automatic thing. The purifier is Krishna himself, as super soul. He only purifies our heart. When he is convinced about our attentiveness. And then when the heart is purified, then one should hear katha of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord, qualities of the Lord and activities of the Lord. When we hear them, then they will register in our mind. And Prabhupada says, one can be completely attentive if mind is completely pure. And how can we get a completely pure mind? For getting a pure mind, we should be pure in habits. Prabhupada says, what are the habits? He says, eating habit, sleeping habit, recreation habits. One should be pure in habits. So, controlling habits is more easy than controlling the mind. How many of you agree? Correct? Controlling mind is more difficult. Just like this fan is rotating now. If you want to stop this fan, I can do two things. Either put a tall stool and go and catch hold of the fan and try to stop it. It will be burning, the coils will be burning inside. Or I switch off the fan, then the fan stops. You know what is easy after the two. Similarly, if we regulate our life and discipline our life and we follow the principles taught in the Shastra properly, then the mind becomes calm, cool and collected. So we will discuss three principles which the Acharyas have suggested, by doing which our mind can be brought to a state of control where we can peacefully focus on Krishna consciousness very nicely. So, we have to cultivate several habits that the Acharyas have given us. You all know the 64 principles Rupa Goswami Pad gives. If you see those principles, if they are all performed with Shraddha, we will make very great progress. Like we drink the Charanamrita. The Shastras say, if you drink Charanamrita, they will destroy the material desires in our heart. If we smell the flower that is offered to Lord, or the garland offered to Lord, when this fragrance goes inside, that cleanses all the impurities, including impersonal desire to merge in impersonal Brahman also. Like our 4 Kumaras, when they went to the Vaikuntha, they had an impersonal conception. But when the Tulasi's Makaranda entered their nostrils, Antargatasva Vivrena Chakara Tesham Sankshobham Aksharajisham Apichitta Tanvo, it is said that fixity on the Omkar became agitated. So they became agitated by ecstasy. Their body started trembling and hair started standing on end and tears sprang from their eyes. They became ecstatic devotees by smelling the Tulasi from the Lord's lotus feet. Similarly, if somebody circumambulates a Vishnu temple few times, then they will never circumambulate the cycle of birth and death. It is said. If somebody enters into a temple like this, with great samutkanta, with great eagerness, they want to see the darshan of the Lord open. They bow down before the Lord and pray to Him, treating the Lord as a person with great eagerness. Because he entered into temple, he will not have to enter into womb of another mother again, after death. Similarly, if somebody sees the chakra of the Lord, which is above the gopuram of any temple, Lord Vishnu's one of the names is Chakri. Chakri means one who holds a chakra. Seeing the chakra is equivalent to seeing the Lord's full darshan. If you see the chakra and remember, just like Vidura, we used to see chakras above the gopurams of temples and he would fall on the ground and roll on the ground, offer obeisances. He treated the chakra as good as the Lord himself. So, in this way, when we do some of the devotional activities out of the 64 activities, with attentiveness, with Shraddha we do, they are very, very purifying also. Also, when we hear hearing the lectures and reflecting on the meaning of what we heard is also a very powerful way of purifying the heart. Yat anudhyasina yukta karma granti nibandanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharathim. He's telling, see, there are 5 stages of development of knowledge or wisdom. The first stage is called pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means you see a very great Vaishnava, like our spiritual master, and then you develop a great affinity and attraction for his noble qualities, Vaishnava qualities. So, by simply looking at a Parama Vaishnava, our heart is captivated, and then we want to imitate him. Like when he is offering obeisances, we also agree to offer obeisances. When we see him dancing, we also try to dance like him. When he sings, we also try to sing like him. So this is called Pratyaksha stage. Simply by seeing great Vaishnavas, we learn. That's called Pratyaksha. And second stage is Para-aksha. Paroksha, we call it. Para-aksha means, initially we don't hear what he says. We only see. We only watch. How many of you experienced the first lecture you attended in ISKCON, you exactly don't remember what you heard? Correct, no? We don't remember. Mostly we are watching. How this person is dancing, how is he singing, how is he behaving. Those things we observe more. That is Pratyaksha. But Paroksha means you hear him attentively and see the world through his eyes, not our own eyes. For example, when he teaches that in every living body there is a soul, even in a tree's body or a dog's body, there is a soul. So when you are walking, you see, oh, here is a soul in a dog's body who has misused his freedom. You see like that. Oh, here is a tree in Vrindavan. It's a Kalpavriksha tree. I can put my head on the tree and pray that please give me Krishna Prem. So we see the items of this world through his eyes. Because he has spiritual eyes. So I see through him, although I cannot see. That is called Paroksha. Para means another. Aksha means eyes. Para-aksha. Third stage is called Aparoksha. Aparoksha means you not only see through his eyes, but you see through your eyes also. You also realize that, whatever he says, I just don't believe it theoretically, but I can practically see it to be true. You are convinced yourself. Like there was one of our students in Pune. He joined Merchant Navy and then he came for a holiday to Pune for 3 months. So he said, Prabhuji, I was like a fish out of water, he said, in the ocean. I said, in the ocean there is abundant water. Why did you feel like a fish out of water? So then he said, in the ship there was no devotee association. I was practically alone. And I was chanting and I had a small altar. I was cooking and offering and I felt so lonely. I was just hankering in my heart, when will I return to temple and meet all the devotees? And then he said, although Prabhupada says the example of fish out of water, earlier I didn't realize it, now I have realized it, he said. Now I have a practical experience. So this is called as Aparoksha, which means we also can see some of the spiritual truths which are already confirmed by the Guru Parampara. The same truths we see with our eyes also, and we become convinced. Sense gratification is poison. It is easily said than realized. This statement. When Prabhupada went to Hawaii, in India, when you talk about Hawaii, people only know Hawaii Chapel. Yeah. But Prabhupada said Hawaii had bluish waters, golden beach, and beautiful flowers and fruits blossoming in the gardens. It's a very beautiful place. when Prabhupada came to Hawaii, he was telling, if there is this material world is called Dukkalayam, but if there is a Sukhalayam, that is Hawaii, he said. Huh? But then Prabhupada came to know, in Hawaii temple, some fellows went on a Harinam. A dozen fellows went, only 10 fellows came back. Because some of them got carried away by sense gratification. So Prabhupada gave a very strong lecture in Hawaii, where he spoke, sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go, yield together. Like that, that's where he spoke it. So, many times, when Prabhupada would be walking on the road in the night, sometimes there will be a very jazzy, very glamorous lights attracting people to permit rooms and discotheque and everything. So some devotees would walk with Prabhupada. When they would see those horrible places, they would feel little uneasy because they would think that, oh, that sense gratification is too tempting. But when Prabhupada looked at the same places, he had tears in his eyes. When Prabhupada saw that big billboards, chikki-chak, like that attractive, Prabhupada cried and said, how royally they are getting cheated by Maya, he said. He could see that they are getting cheated. On the other hand, neophyte devotees felt they are being deprived the opportunity to enjoy. So, yeah, when one comes to aparoksha stage, one is able to be convinced, oh, this is useless. This cannot give me enjoyment. Only Krishna can give me enjoyment. See, Krishna and Maya both are attractive. But the difference is, Krishna attracts, Maya attracts. But Krish means attract. Na means one who bestows bliss. So Krishna attracts everybody to himself and bestows abundant bliss to the devotees. See, he doesn't have to do much. Even by a little movement, Krishna gives so much bliss. One day, small baby Krishna, he crawled and came to Mother Yashoda and pulled her sari while Yashoda was, doing this, churning of the butter with her eyes closed, singing some songs on Krishna's activities. She was churning butter. Her earrings were swinging back and forth. Her bangles were making sounds like a kartal. And she was singing. And she was completely absorbed in trance. And when Krishna came and touched her shoulder, she just very casually asked, Kana, what do you want? And then continued her work. And Krishna was thinking, just look at my mother. She knows I have gotten up and she is not paying wholehearted attention to me. Just see what I will do now. Then he gradually crawled and caught hold of this rod, churning rod. And Mother Yashoda was moving hand. Only hand was moving, but the rod was not moving. The rod had stopped. And suddenly she opened her eyes and saw. And Krishna had a beaming smile. Now what you will do now? So that one smile was enough to flood her heart. She stopped the churning and picked up the child. Actually, our acharyas say, why Krishna caught hold of the churning rod? To tell her that, Maya, I have already become your child. You have already come to the stage of Vasudeva Sarvamiti. What is the need of speculating like this with your mind? That's what he wanted to tell her. You look at me and keep me on your lap. So, in this way, Krishna's activities can flood the heart. And one who realizes that, and they can realize that the sense gratification is useless. It is like a broken piece of glass. Broken pieces of glass, Dhruva Maharaj said, why? Because broken pieces of glass is useless, but if you take it in your hand and do like this, it will cut your hands also. So, then one can realize it. So, Pratyaksha, Paroksha, Aparoksha, Adokshaja. Adha means to push down. And Aksha means eyes. So, Adha Aksha Ja means whatever is born of our sense perception, that is pushed down, which means one sees spiritually the world around. One will see the world spiritually. How do we see spiritually? We should, that is only possible by Shastra Chakshu. We have a Shastra Chakshu. Everything we see the living bodies as spirit souls. And we see Krishna as the super soul in the heart of everyone. We see everybody as a child of God. We see the whole world as one family, Vasudha Eva Kutumbakam. Krishna is the father of everyone. And we don't see anything independent of Krishna in the Adokshaja stage. And the fifth stage is called Aprakrita. Aprakrita stage is a stage when the devotee's heart is filled with the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. That is revealed by Krishna's grace only. It is not possible to artificially hear some pastimes and try to appreciate them. They are actually revealed by Krishna, and the relish also is Krishna's mercy only that the devotee gets. So in this way, one's mind gradually will go ascend in these particular stages, as we were saying now, as we hear. Not only we should hear and see through Shastra Chakshu, but we also should do Bodhayanta Parasparam. We should discuss with other devotees, other Vaishnavas. Just see how Krishna is so wonderful. See, he expects the least qualification from us, and he bestows the highest benediction. This is Krishna's grace. You see, Vaishya means a person who invests very little money and takes out big money in profit. He's called as a Vaishya. If somebody has that business mentality, they will buy a commodity for 100 rupees and they can make it 1000 rupees. They can make it. But you see, Krishna is so kind, he expects very least qualification from Putana. What was Putana's qualification? When Putana came with her poison in her breast, but she was determined, now I will pick up this child and keep the child on my lap, and once I feed him milk, he will also suck the poison and die. With that determination she came. But then she came like a very beautiful goddess Lakshmi, carrying a lotus and whirling in her hand. Kamsena prahita ghora putana balaghatini shishumshachara nigranti puragrama vrajadishu. Roaming in that village, when she was coming, everybody was looking at her amazing beauty. People thought maybe Krishna is born in our Vraja and Lakshmi has come to see him. So everybody was showing, go there, go to the house of Yashoda. And when she arrived at the home of Yashoda, Yashoda and Rohini felt, look at this lady, how beautiful she looks. She is fit to be the mother of my Lala. And Yashoda picked up the child and gave it to her. Because different mothers would like to pick up the child and care as the child. So like that she gave it to her, very innocently. But then you know what happened subsequently. When Krishna was seeing Putana, he was laughing to himself, what a wonderful drama she is doing. Even her drama of a mother is so nice. At least she is doing a drama of a mother wanting to feed me milk along with the poison. For this drama, I will give her the position of Datri in the spiritual world. So, see, in this world, you see, non-violent means like Mrigari became non-violent, which means he didn't kill the other animals. That is one meaning of non-violence. A deeper meaning of non-violence is, if somebody attacks us and we don't strike back, that is also non-violence. That's a greater degree of non-violence. Like Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by Shringi, but Shringi didn't curse back. Parikshit didn't curse back. That is also called a higher degree of non-violence. Greater than that non-violence is to wish well for the person who is causing us violence, and to go to the extent of praying for him, like what Ambarish Maharaj did, or Prahlad did for his father. That's a deeper, deeper platform of non-violence. So in the same manner you will find Lord Krishna, he is seeing Putana coming with poison, evil intention. All of you think for a minute, if somebody approaches you with the evil intention, will we feel any sympathy for them? But Krishna is feeling sympathy. Krishna is seeing some good, even surrounded by so much bad, and he gave her that great position. And this is the crest jewel quality of Krishna called as Karunyata, the Karuna, compassion that he has. So, when devotees come together and discuss Bodhayanta Parasparam, when they admire what they have heard and appreciate and share with one another, they will reinforce each other's conviction with one another. So in this way, hearing is one thing, and reflecting and remembering and relishing ourselves is another thing, and then to share with others and discuss with others, then that churning, that is actually mananam, that becomes even more powerful. Then it enters deeper into our heart and we remember also. And And what do we hear in all these things? When we are hearing lectures, you will see two things we do, anartha nivritti and artha pravritti. Anartha nivritti means unwanted things we try to get rid of. Artha pravritti means, we hear about the name, qualities, all those things. Just like, take the mridanga. Who has the mridanga? So, see, here is a beautiful song for Smaranam. And when we hear, each of these words have such a deep meaning. Adharam maduram vadanam maduram. Everybody? Adharam maduram vadanam maduram nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram ayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram hridayam madhuram madhuradipate akilam madhuram madhuradipate akilam madhuram. See, in this song, he's telling when Krishna is playing on his flute, standing under the kadamba tree in the moonlit night and playing on his flute, his lips are shining like a bimba fruit. That shine is beautiful. Adaram madhuram, he's telling. And then he's saying, Vadanam madhuram, his face is like a full moon, shining like a full moon. And then he's saying, his eyes are like lotus petals, and his eyes are emanating Amrit Varsha. Anyone who comes in front of the deities of Krishna, their whole body and the mind and the soul becomes bathed by Krishna's Karunya Kataksh. And by that, Krishna is called as Bhakta Vatsala, because like a calf, it has so many impurities in its body, but the mother cow licks and removes them. Similarly, Krishna also takes away our impurities as he glances at us. So his eyes are like lotus petals, he says. And then he says, Hasitam Madhuram. Bhagavatam, many places you will find Krishna's glance and Krishna's sweet speech and Krishna's smile. These three things are extremely glorified. So in the Bhagavatam it is said, Krishna himself is very beautiful to look at, but amongst his beauty, his face is most beautiful. And in his face, his smile is even more beautiful, it is said. Hasam Hare Ravanata Kila Lokati Vrashokashu Sagara Vishoshana Atyudaram. He is telling, Hasam Hare means Lord. Hari's Has means Muskan, yes, smile. If one observes it very attentively, then all one's ocean of suffering will be evaporated, it says. So, in this way, Krishna's smile, Krishna's eyebrows, if somebody is feeling very lusty, they should look at the eyebrows of Krishna, it is said. When one looks at the eyebrows of Krishna, then what happens? One develops such attraction to Krishna that when Madan comes with his Makaradvaja, you know Makaradvaja? Makaradvaja is, he is having a flag with the insignia carrying a fish in that. And he's carrying a sugarcane bow and a flower arrow. And he attacks everybody in this world. And the hearts are pierced. That's why people put the picture of a heart with arrow. Because that is done by whom? Whose work is it? Madan, yeah. But that Madan, when he tried to attack Krishna in Dwaraka, Krishna defeated his flag and put it on the ground and put his foot on that. And that is why under Krishna's feet there is fish. Fish also you will find. That fish is from the flag of Madan. So, by seeing Krishna's eyebrows, we become free from lust. By seeing his eyes, we become blessed. By seeing his smile, we become free from all the misery. In this way, he says in this Nayanam Madhuram, Hasitam Madhuram, Hridayam Madhuram. His heart is also very lovely, because in Dwaraka, when Sudama Brahmana arrived there, he didn't arrive there to ask anything from Krishna, although his wife had told him to go and ask for something. Ayam hi paramo labha uttamashloka darshanam. He says, I will get the darshan of Krishna. For that I will go. That was his determination. With that sankalpa he came there to Dwaraka. And Krishna, when he saw Sudama with the tattered clothes at the entrance of the palace, he was sitting in the bedstead with, in the asana with Rukmini on one side, and he was sitting next. He immediately told Rukmini, Kali karo, immediately, empty this place. I am going to keep my friend here. How can he tell his eternal consort to quit that place, which he reserved for his intimate friend Sudama? And he ran to the door of the palace and he embraced Sudama in the public for everyone to see. He had no prestige problem. Just like what Drupada had a prestige problem. Krishna had no prestige. That is why his Hridayam is also Madhuram. His heart is very lovely. And he's saying Gamanam Madhuram. His walking is also beautiful. When does he walk? In the Gocharan Leela. When he is going in the jungle, walking with the cows and calves, his lotus feet become pinkish, touched by the pebbles and stones. So that is very beautiful, described in the Gopi Gita. Venur Madhura, Renur Madhura, Venur Panir Madhura, Padau Madhura, Padau Madhura. Nrityam madhuram, sakhyam madhuram, nrityam madhuram. Madhuradipate, akilam madhuram, madhuradipate, akilam madhuram, madhuradipate, akilam madhuram, akilam. He is saying, Venur Madhura. When Krishna plays on his Venu, Venunad, we all had gone to this Adikeshwar temple in South India. So there was a beautiful murti of Lord Muralidhara in front of one of the pillars. Very tall murti. On the other side of the murti, you will find Lakshmi is standing with a lotus. She is carrying a lotus and whirling. Radharani Lakshmi, they are holding a lotus. On the other side, you will find, even today, if you go, the carving is still there. One amazing carving of one cow standing on two legs and hearing Krishna's flute. Generally, human beings stand on two legs, cows stand on four legs, but it was standing on two legs like this and hearing like this. It was hearing the flute. And then behind the cow, there was a tiger keeping his hand on the shoulder of the cow. And behind the tiger, there was a deer keeping his hands on the tiger's shoulder. So you will find this, there is a cow and tiger and a deer. And below you will find there is a calf which was supposed to drink milk from the cow, but it's drinking milk from the tiger's udder. And you will find the cub of the tiger drinking milk from the cow. So when I saw that, I was very shocked. I thought there's a mistake in this sculpture. So I called the pujari and showed him, how old is it? Is it new one or old one? He said, very ancient one, he said. When I showed him what the mistake was, he laughed and said, this is not a mistake. He said, this is what happens when one hears Krishna's flute. He said, So, this is the Venunad. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, my dear Krishna, ever since I heard your flute, I have lost taste to hear anything else. As soon as I saw your beauty, my eyes have lost the taste to see any other beauty of this world. Like that he says, in this way, you are a stealer of my senses, he says. You have stolen all my senses away. Now you cannot, although you are a Makanchor, you can cut Bhavapash and Yamapash, I will bind you with Premapash, which you can never cut. So, in this way, the Venur Madhura, he says. Renur Madhura. Renu means the dust from the dust particles from Krishna's lotus feet. You see, the Shastras repeatedly say, lotus feet of Krishna. One of our students was asking, Prabhuji, why every time lotus? What is, Then I told him that famous verse by Kunti. Nama Pankajanabhaya, Nama Pankajamaline, Nama Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangriye. I told him, don't think only Krishna's feet is lotus. She is saying your navel is also having a depression like lotus, and from your navel only lotus comes, when which Brahma is born, isn't it? And your eyes are also like lotus petals, and you are wearing a lotus garland also, lotus flower garland. In this way, Krishna's whole body is like one big lotus. So, why lotus? Because lotus is the most fragrant flower, and it is the most beautiful flower to look at, and it is the most soft, tender petals it has, and it is a king of flowers. And in this world, we don't know anything better than the lotus, so we compare only with lotus. If there is a better flower, you tell me, we can compare Krishna's limbs with better than lotus. So, in this way, Venur Madhura, Renur Madhura means from Krishna's lotus feet falls saffron dust particles, which are most sought by even Shiva and Brahma. Rukmini was telling, she wrote a letter to Krishna and sent through a Brahmana who is like a spiritual master. She sent to Krishna, but Krishna didn't reply. So in her last para, she wrote, Krishna, I am not very sure whether you will accept me, because you are highly qualified and I have no qualification. In case you found me disqualified to marry you, she said, don't worry, I am willing to perform penances for 100 lifetimes. And I am repeatedly ready to die again and again. Why? Because the dust of your feet is sought even by Shiva and Brahma and such people. Yas yangri pankajarajas snapanam mahanto vanchanti umapati rivatma tamopahatya. Umapati means Lord Shiva. Umapati wants your dust to put on his head to cleanse his tamaguna in his heart. Who is the tamaguna adhipati, wants to cleanse his tamaguna by taking your dust on his head. And that same dust was strewn on the head of Kaliya when Krishna was dancing on Kaliya. Seeing that, Kaliya's wives were taken by surprise. They said, our husband has become a deadly, vicious and venomous serpent because of his last life papa karmas. How can such a papi person have Krishna's lotus feet on his head? This is just impossible. Lakshmi is praying for this dust. Shiva is praying for this dust. They are all not getting it. How did our sinful husband get it? They were all asking. And then, actually, they didn't know. They only attributed it to costless mercy of Krishna. But there is a reason behind it. The reason is, those Nagapatnis were pure devotees. And because Kaliya happened to be their husband, Krishna favored him also. That was not known to them. But the point is, many people aspire for dust of the lotus feet. Do you know why? Because if that dust comes on our head, the first thing that will happen is we will become free from all material desires. Our heart will become filled with satisfaction, and it will awaken Krishna Prema in our hearts. And we will consider Hari Guru Vaishnava shelter to be the ultimate shelter. We will be completely satisfied in chanting and dancing and not hanker for anything, sticking our neck out of the window for anything else in this world. So, in this way, anyone who gets the dust of Krishna's lotus feet, there is another verse in Bhagavatam which says that it empowers a person to do extraordinary activities in this world, like what Srila Prabhupada did, spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world in such a short time. He got the dust of Krishna's lotus feet on his head, like that. So this is Renur Madhura. Panir Madhura. Pani means hand. Krishna's hand is also very soft and very tender like a lotus. Whenever Arjuna would return from the battle on a particular day, Krishna would go and touch the wounds like this. As he would move his palm over Arjuna's wounds, the wounds would vanish. Finished. That's like a healing balm. Yeah. In this way, Krishna's hands are also extremely powerful. Like, sometimes you find Lord Varadaraj, isn't it? Varadaraj means one who is giver of benedictions. He can give instant benedictions, he can give slow benedictions, and he will do whatever is good for you when you go and pray to him. So, his hands are extremely powerful also. When gopis were dancing in the rasa dance in great trance, their eyes were closed and they were all dancing so vigorously that there were pearl-like perspirations on their cheeks, and Krishna wiped them when he saw them to make them free from tiredness. When Krishna wiped, the gopis didn't even see how it's being wiped, but they only smelled something like a rose or a lotus. because of Krishna's hands were emanating that fragrance. Like sometimes in the market you purchase a new rubber, pink rubber, something, smell it. Isn't it? Like that, Krishna's hands are very fragrant, like that. Yeah, it is a fact, because when Krishna went into the mouth of that fellow, Aghasura, before that Aghasura's mouth was emanating fishy smell, and all the coward boys fell unconscious inside his mouth, not able to tolerate that unbearable smell. Just like what comes out of Shulva Shauchalaya somewhere. That type of smell. But when Krishna entered inside, oh, it was like O'Donnell you put in a lavatory, isn't it? And Krishna is the supreme Neelamani. Supreme Neelamani. The whole mouth became fragrant. And when his body dried up later on, covered boys could easily go inside to play like a game. Just like you have toys, like that they were going inside and playing, because it was very fragrant. Yeah. Similarly, Krishna only caught Putana's nipple with his two lips. That two lip touch was enough. Her whole body became fragrant. Later on, when the gopis were cutting the body into pieces and burning, the smoke flames were appearing like chandan. Smell was coming out. Chandan and aguru mixed together. And Nanda Baba was wondering when he was coming in the field, is Bali Maharaj performing some yajna in Sutala Loka? From where this fragrant flames, fragrant smoke is coming? He was thinking. But little did he know that it was fumes coming from Rakshasi, Putana's body, which is supposed to be obnoxious smell. Like sometimes while you are going in the train, sometimes a dead animal is lying in a jungle and the bad smell comes. Putana's body is supposed to be smelling like that. But was smelling fragrant because of Krishna's touch, you see. This is Panir Madhura. Padau Madhura means Krishna's lotus feet are also very beautiful, very tender. When he is lying in that Vatapatra, Padaravinde Kararavindam Kararavinde Viniveshayantam Patasya Patrasya Puteshayanam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. The tender lotus feet of Krishna were so beautiful to look at. He was putting it in his mouth. Why he was putting in the mouth? He wanted to know why my devotees are always talking about the dust of my lotus feet. Let me see what is the taste of it. Like that he wanted to check it. Why are they so much mad after that? So he was tasting like that. So this child who was lying in the banyan tree leaf, when Markandeya swam and came and saw this beautiful baby, all his suffering was finished. Then he felt great joy. He asked the child, "Who are you?" But the child didn't answer. Child inhaled and he went inside. He saw the pralaya and everything again. When the child exhaled, then the child spoke. "Oh, my dear child, Markandeya." He was speaking like that. He was calling Markandeya as his child. My name is Hari. People call me as Hari or Vishnu, Krishna, so many names. I existed even before the creation, and I will exist all through. So in this way, that child's lotus feet was very beautiful. Padav Madhura. And then he's saying, Nrityam Madhuram, his dance is most beautiful, especially when he's dancing on Kaliya. Kaliya Nartan, when he's doing, you see, Kaliya had a very smooth, hoods. We have seen so many disco dancers dancing on the stage. We have to check with them whether any of them can dance on a Kaliya's hoods. Because Kaliya's hoods were not only very slippery, very smooth and slippery, but they were also moving. Because one hood it will pull back and send another one. And then Krishna would jump on that. Then he would send a third one and fourth one. So they were all changing stages. And Krishna would be swiftly moving hither and thither. Different size. Like Bharatanatyam was dancing like this. Very beautifully. And that dance was so beautiful. See, the whole world came to watch that dance. See, one time, there was a cloud in the sky, whom Srimati Radharani saw, and she called the cloud, "Hey, clouds, come here. I have a very important message to be sent to Shyam Sundar. Can you please take this message?" And the clouds asked her, "Oh Radha, what is the message you want us to take? We will surely hear you and we will carry the message. The only problem is we don't know who is Shyam Sundar. If you can tell us how he looks like, then we will carry the message," they said. See, don't think the clouds were unaware of Krishna. Because at the time of birth of Krishna in the jail of Kamsa, the clouds were having a dialogue with ocean. The clouds were saying, my dear ocean, you are called as Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu. You will be attached to Krishna's quality. Whereas people will attach us to Krishna's bodily color. Radheshyam. So we are attached to Krishna's bodily color, you are attached to Krishna's quality. So they were having a conversation, and that Lord has appeared in this world. So they are already aware of Krishna's birth. Then why are they asking Radharani that, can you tell us who Shyam is? They were also great devotees of Krishna, but they were in ecstatic mood. They wanted to hear more about Krishna. So they were asking, can you please tell us how can we identify Krishna? So once you identify, then we can pass your news. And Radharani said, that's a very easy job, she said. You don't have to take much difficulty. I can give you a lot of description, he has a beautiful peacock feather, he has a pitambar and he has a Vaijayanti mala. But all the description I don't have to give you. You know why? Because wherever lakhs of eyes are watching one person, that person is Krishna. He said. See, when Krishna went to the heavenly planets to give the Aditi's kundal and Varuna's umbrella, everybody in the heaven, along with the demigods and their wives, they all came to see. When Krishna went to Mathura, the Mathuravasis climbed up on the rooftops and they were all watching. Even in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, every fellow was holding a bow and arrow, but they were looking at Krishna. I don't know what kind of fight they are going to do. Like that. That is why it is said, Rupam Drisham Drishimatam Akhilartha Labham Tayyachyuta Vishati Chittam Apatram. Rukmani is telling this. Rupam Drisham means आंख वालों को एक ही कार्य करना चाहिए, देखने लायक वस्तु भगवान वासुदेव को देखना चाहिए. She is telling. Those who have the eyes to see, the best object to be seen is Krishna. That's what she is telling. So, when Krishna was dancing, everybody's eyes were on him. And even the Gandharvas, they also wanted to join the wonderful dance of Krishna with the Mirdangam and Kartal and everything. They also joined. Apsaras also wanted to join. And Apsaras tried dancing for some time. Only thing is nobody was watching them. Apsaras, then somebody told Apsaras, relax now, sit down. Till Krishna dances, nobody will watch you. Like that. So this is Krishna's Nrityam. Nrityam Madhuram Sakhyam Madhuram. His Sakhyam also is Madhuram. You see, Krishna's Sakhyatha with Arjuna is deeply appreciated by Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma is watching from this side, and on the other side, Krishna is sitting as a charioteer of Arjuna, carrying all the ropes of the horses, like that is making sounds. And that is heard by Bhishma Pitama. What a beautiful sight. How much Krishna loves his devotee Arjuna. Like that Bhishma is wondering, see, what is special about this? If Krishna loves his devotee Arjuna so much, I am also trying to be his devotee, he will love me also. That is the meaning of this. So, when Bhishma Pitama sent volleys of arrows from all directions, Arjuna was so badly defeated. Horses were knocked down, his chariot was knocked, Arjuna was thrown off. At that time, Krishna's eyes became ridden with anxiety. He came, he picked up a wheel of a chariot, raising it above his head. With eyes ridden with anxiety, he came charging towards Bhishma. And there were drops of perspiration. And there were some blood drops due to arrows sent by Bhishma. And the upper garment was also flowing down. And Arjuna caught hold of Krishna's leg very firmly. Krishna, you are not supposed to lift any weapon. You have made a promise. Krishna said, hell with all the promise. He wanted to protect Arjuna. So when Bhishma Pitama saw that sight, he put his bow and arrow down and surrendered to Krishna. Prabhupada says, Krishna did not intend to kill Bhishma. If he intended, just like in Shishupal's case, he released the Sudarshan Chakra. He didn't carry a chariot wheel. He released the Sudarshan Chakra, which is always available in Krishna's hands invisibly. But he didn't release Sudarshan Chakra. He lifted a chariot wheel. Nobody fights with the chariot wheel in this world. So Prabhupada says this is like a lover running towards the beloved. So that sight of Krishna lifting the chariot wheel and running, this was deeply appreciated by Bhishma. When Bhishma saw in Krishna's eyes the fear to protect Arjuna, he said, Krishna, this is the meaning of you being the ultimate and ideal master, how you protect your devotees. You take anxiety for your devotees. And Bhishma's love for Krishna erupted in his heart by seeing this. This is Sakhyam. And then he is saying, Geetam Madhuram Pitam Madhuram Pitam Madhuram Bhuktam Madhuram Suptam Madhuram Bhuktam Suptam Madhuram Rupam Madhuram Tilakam Madhuram Rupam Madhuram Madhuradipate Akilam Madhuram Madhuradipate Akilam Madhuram Madhuradipate Akilam Madhuram Madhuradipate. See, Geetam Madhuram, when Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita, that is also Madhur, very sweet. One of the qualities of Krishna is called as Vavaduka. Vavaduka means one who can speak a large volume of information in a very small way. Eloquently he can speak. That's one meaning. Another meaning is one who can speak so sweetly that everybody will be irresistibly attracted to hearing what he is saying. That is also Vavaduka. And another meaning of Vavaduka is one whose speech is fully loaded with such deep meaning, it can be elaborated to a great extent. And that is Bhagavad Gita, Gita Madhuram. And he is telling, Gita Madhuram is not only the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, one of the qualities of Krishna you will read, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada says, his name is Vivida Adbhuta Bhashavit, he says. Vivida Adbhuta Bhashavit means he knows multiple languages. With Vijayabasis, he speaks in Rajabhasha. With Devatas, he speaks in Sanskrit. With the cows, he speaks in cow language. With birds and cuckoos, he speaks in their language. When the birds are talking to Krishna and Krishna is reciprocating back with them, others cannot understand what is he saying. But he can talk in their language also. In this way, Krishna is speaking to every living entity in every planet, residing in their hearts, he is talking to them. Those who can hear can hear. He can speak in their language in which they can understand. So, in this way, Geetam Madhuram, Pitam Madhuram means his Pitambar is dazzling golden color which was seen by Bhishma Pitamaha and other warriors in the battle of Kurukshetra. It's also very much appreciated. His Pitambar, like a lightning. And Bhuktam Madhuram means his eating is also very beautiful. One day, when Krishna went with his cows and calves, you see, Krishna considered himself the servant of his cows and calves. Cowherd boys are also like that. They thought themselves to be servants of their cows. So when they would go to Yamuna, they would first make the cows drink water and then they would drink water. So one day, it was a hot sunny day when when Krishna saw that the sun was like summer season. Just now the summer ended and the rainy season has started now here. So in the summer, when the sun was very hot, there is a portion in the Govardhan hill where there are no trees. There are only grasses. And the cows were grazing the grasses, but it was very hot. So then Krishna thought, let me favor my cows. So he played on his flute. As he played on his flute, distant clouds, they heard the sound and they all started coming towards Vrindavan. And they made a huge body of clouds right over Govardhan hill. And the clouds are very happy. Why? They thought that we are taking the heat of the sun and making cows and Krishna feel very cool. In this way we are able to render some seva. So they were very happy. And they were happy for another reason. Another advantage we have is we can hear Krishna's flute very nicely, staying so close. So they were very happily situated. When the cows heard the flute sound of Krishna, they all raised their ears. Very attentively they were hearing. And the calves, they drank milk from the cow's udders, but they stopped drinking. And their mouths were still wet. But in hearing the flute, that they were all dumbfounded, like that. So one day, in the bank of Yamuna, Krishna told his friends, my dear friends, can there be a better place than this bank of Yamuna? See, here water is flowing. We can wash our hands and legs. And cows can drink water also. And see this sandy beach. It is so shady, shaded by the trees above. And there is so much fresh green grass cows and calves can eat. And we all can sit here and make a circle and we can eat our lunch. So this is my proposal. What do you all say? Krishna asked. Coward boy said, what can be a better proposal than yours, Krishna? We all agree. So they sat in a circle. That is the time when all coward boys saw Krishna is looking at me only. Although, like if we are sitting like this, somebody behind us cannot see our face. But everybody was seeing Krishna's face on all sides. That is Krishna magic. They were all very happy. And that eating pastime of Krishna is very beautiful. Beautiful to see. All the coward boys take out the lunch box and give one item to Krishna, and Krishna eats a little bit. And he gives a certificate, and then only they start eating and distributing. So his eating is beautiful. And who is the eating God? Lord Jagannath. One who eats a big breakfast like this hall-sized breakfast he eats every day. He is a big eater. And that eating Lord is in Jagannath Puri, and millions of people come to see the eating Lord. Similarly, Suptam Madhura means sleeping Lord. Who is the sleeping Lord? Lord Ranganath, who is sleeping in Srirangam on a serpent bed. You see, Brahma, in one of his prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, is telling Lord Narayana, my dear Lord Narayana, generally in the night when people sleep, they want a very calm, undisturbed sleep. So they close the doors, windows, and they avoid all possible sounds. But you are lying in the middle of the ocean which has roaring waves. With that noise, how are you able to sleep? And not only that, people make a very nice bedding when they want to sleep. But you are sleeping in serpent bed. See, serpent bed, will it be comfortable? There will be ups and downs. Not only ups and downs, it's a serpent. Isn't it? Even if it's an ordinary bed has ups and downs, we can tolerate. But it's a serpent bed. And then Lord Brahma is saying, nobody in this world can do this pastime, only you can do. So this is Lord Narayana lying in the serpent bed in the roaring ocean. He is sleeping as Ranganath. But the most amazing thing with Ranganath is, simply sleeping with semi-closed eyes, he is creating all the universes from his body. So many universes. We can only produce a little sweat from our body by sleeping. But you can imagine how can Lord turn out so much work even while sleeping in Yoga Nidra. And that is why the whole world is coming to see him in Ranganath, Srirangam. So even your sleeping is beautiful, my Lord. Even your eating is beautiful, he is telling. So this is a Madhuram Madhuram song. Everything about Krishna is Madhuram, beautiful. In case we cannot appreciate this sweetness, what I explained to you till now is called as direct remembrance of Krishna, what we were talking till now. There is an indirect remembrance of Krishna, which is actually the preliminary step. Because you all are fired up, serious devotees, I spoke about direct remembrance of Krishna. There is also indirect remembrance of Krishna that Krishna recommends in the 7th, 9th, 10th chapters of Bhagavad Gita, you will see. You see, even to those who are not devotees, we can explain Krishna's presence through this indirect way of understanding. So indirect glorification of Krishna can be done by devotees also, and it can be used in preaching also, and which Prabhupada also used several times. And by that one will gradually progress in one's faith in Krishna's supremacy also. Like you see, you all know about counseling. In counseling means, once His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj said, counseling means from womb to tomb, your devotee should be happily situated in Krishna consciousness. And at any cross-section of his or her life, one should be having some meaningful service to do. These are the two things he said about counseling. So, we know what are the duties of a counselor, but you will find even Krishna, what kind of Lord he is, you will see at every level he is caring for us, physically, emotionally, intellectually, egoistically, in every level you will see. For example, physical means what? Food, clothing, shelter. You will find, if you go to the cause of all causes, like we are eating vegetables, fruits, cereals and everything, where are they coming from? Because of the rains they come, isn't it? When rains, where do they come from? Because of the sun. If sun is not there, there cannot be rains, isn't it? So sun is the cause of the vegetation growth. And moon is the cause of the juices, 6 types of juices. like sweet, bitter, pungent, salt, sour, astringent. 6 types of juices. So Lord Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, these are my two eyes. I have a hot eye and a cool eye. With my hot eye, I produce everything. With my cool eye, I supply the juices. And once it is done, then we all have it. We can take the vegetables and cook it and we can eat very nicely. Now eating is easy, but how will we digest it? Krishna says, I am the digester also in your body. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashita is telling. In everyone's body, I am the digester. If Krishna doesn't digest, then we will have indigestion problem, constipation problem. So, in this way, when we eat, Krishna helps us to digest. Not only that, he says, some people have a tendency to overeat. So he says, Pushnami cha aushadhi sarva, that is saying that I also give jadibuti also. Along with vegetables and fruits, he has given ginger, pepper, jeera, and also many other thousands of Ayurvedic medicines, which he knows very well living entities will tend to overeat or they will overindulge. So he sent medicines also. He's so kind. So if you look at the nature around, Krishna's two eyes are looking at the nature. That is called Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. On the Prakriti, his two eyes glance are there. And if that glance is not there, the Prakriti cannot produce anything. And this is recognized by Kunti also. Ime janapadaha sriddha supakvaushadi virudaha vanadri nadi udanvanto hyedante tava vikshitaihi tava vikshitai. By your glance, Krishna, everything, the rivers are full of water, ocean is full of navaratnas, mountain is full of gold, silver, diamond and everything. And the cow's udder is full of milk. People are all very happy everywhere. It's all your grace. Even the rain which is coming nowadays, this rain is called as Krishna's grace. Without rain, nothing can flourish in this world. So in this way, by Krishna's two eyes, he is not only he is giving us vegetables, fruits, even we need the warmth also, correct, no? We need the heat of the sun. We need the appropriate heat of the sun for our survival also. In this way, one can understand physically how Krishna is supporting. Similarly, emotionally how is he supporting? Prahlad is telling, whenever I see a mother hugging and embracing a child and kissing, he says, this is Lord's love shown through the agency of mother and father, father-child, he is saying. Everybody in this world showing love to one another, that love is actually ultimately coming from the Supreme Lord only. Because we have told Krishna, don't disturb me. Krishna has sent somebody else to show love for us. We have turned away from him, then Krishna sends another living entity. So in this way, Krishna makes the living entities mutually dependent. You see? Like we give carbon dioxide to plants, plants give us oxygen. We take milk from the cows and we maintain the cows, like that. So all living entities in this world are mutually dependent on one another and they are absolutely dependent on Krishna. You see, parts of a body can also mutually help one another. Like for example, if this hand is paining, I can massage with this hand, correct, no? This way we can help each other. But these two hands cannot help each other without putting food in the belly, correct, no? Because that putting food in the belly only gives two hands the strength to help each other also, correct, no? Similarly, we all are mutually dependent in this world on each other and absolutely dependent on Krishna. So, in this way, physical, emotional, and there are many jivas in this world who say, Krishna, I don't like Bhagavad Gita, I don't like Bhagavatam, don't tell me anything about God, leave me alone, but I want to have something for my intellect. Then Krishna says, okay, take mathematics, take all kinds of science, physics, chemistry, different fields. So, to titillate ourselves intellectually has given us so many Jadavidya subjects, you can see in this world. So, and living entities are very happy. Like one scientist was saying, when I go to lab, I forget my lunch box and I throw away my watch and doing experiments. And whole life he can be an illusion, living like that. Isn't it? So, for the living entities who want to be in illusion, he intellectually also satisfies them. You see? And we have our egos. And how does he satisfy our egos? By varnashrama. For example, somebody thinks I'm brahmachari. Okay, you have, these are the principles for you, brahmachari. Somebody is a grihastha. Then you have a marriage system. Husband, wife, you marry. Two living entities come together, you marry, and you beget children. And then these are the dharma for grihastha and for sannyas, vanaprastha sannyas, everyone. So, varnashrama is a system by which we can dovetail our material mentalities to purify our hearts eventually and ultimately please God. Some Siddhir Haritoshana, like that. And for the soul, he has done a lot. You see, as devotees of Krishna, we have to see how he is specifically interested in us. See, he is giving food to even the atheistic people also. But he pays specific attention to his devotees. Like he says, Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. If you do these two things, dadami buddhi yogam tam. Then he says, I will only give you buddhi if you are always engaged in Krishna consciousness and also you are doing bhajan with priti, with love. Then only I will give you buddhi. And for non-devotees, I don't give any instruction. I leave them. And they are all acting, speculating with their own mind and struggling in this world. You see, one time I asked my spiritual master that this mind is such a challenging thing. So many students, hundreds of students write letters asking about how to control the mind. So then he was telling, yes, it is true. This mind is like a monkey. And you can never see a monkey in a relaxed mood. Generally, monkeys are very naughty. Like last time when we went to Vrindavan Yatra, in the Fogla ashram, I saw monkeys were all going from one side to the other side and they were running. But while going, in between they jump up and down few times before going. So I was asking Smaranam Prabhu, Prabhuji, why they are jumping like this? He said, because they are monkeys. This is their nature only. They have to jump up and down. They have to create some disturbance. If there is a rod, they will move it like this. Correct, no? They cannot keep quiet. But you will find there is one monkey who sits like this, quietly. Can you know who is the monkey? Hanumanji. Because he is chanting Ram's name. That is why. So, then Maharaj was telling, one who chants the holy names attentively can become like Hanuman monkey. His mind becomes like Hanuman, calm, cool and collected. So, in this way, spiritually, Krishna has given us the holy name. He has come as the holy rivers. He has come as the holy books. He has come as the holy devotees. He has come as the holy prasadam. And also he has given special instruction to devotees. He says, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Those who are worshipping me, I personally preserve what they have. I protect what, I provide what they lack. And I preserve what they have. So Krishna takes special interest in his devotee. Like Prabhupada gives example. If a king has a small son, prince, king would give him very nice dress and everything. And for other people, he will give charity, which will be a general charity. But for his own son, he will give the best of dresses. Just like if a mother and father are going in a train, carrying some, nicely cooked prasad for the child. For the child, they will give today's prasad. If some beggar comes, they will give yesterday's roti. Correct, na? For their child, they won't give yesterday's roti. Correct? In the same manner, Krishna also for his devotees, he reserves his special attention. And spiritually, he has given us unlimited. He has given beautiful temples. He has given us acharyas like Srila Prabhupada and his disciples by whom we are guided. So in this way, when we observe this world around us, Prabhupada used to observe the world around and talk a lot of things. One time he was in New Vrindavan. He showed a tree which was completely leafless tree. In one season, the tree loses all the leaves, no? So Prabhupada said, just see the tree, it is completely shaven. Wait for a couple of months, all the leaves will be resumed again. Can a scientist do this? Prabhupada asked. Scientists can throw a bomb in Hiroshima, Nagasaki and kill people, but they cannot give life again. But Krishna can drop all the leaves and again make them all have the leaves. This is Krishna's magic. So Prabhupada said. So wherever Prabhupada went, he would observe the nature and comment about nature. One devotee told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, see the sun, which is setting sun. Is it not beautiful? And Prabhupada said, if the setting sun is beautiful, how much more the artist who made the sun must be beautiful. He said. So, Prabhupada, wherever he turned around, he could see Krishna and show Krishna to people. There was one drunkard who was having a liquor bottle. Prabhupada said, while drinking the liquor, think that the taste of liquor is Krishna, which is very difficult to think. But he said, if you do think, then you will become Krishna conscious. He said, Rasoham apsu kaunteya. So in this way, Prabhupada could very easily defeat atheism and establish Krishna's presence. People sometimes, especially the modern man, is becoming too proud that we are doing great things. But Prabhupada would, once near a ocean beach, there was an aeroplane flying. And some man told Prabhupada, Swamiji, see, man is flying 747 jumbo jet and such big aeroplanes. It appears that the man has conquered nature. Prabhupada said, what are you talking? When petrol gets over, it has to come down. He said, huh? On the other hand, look at the birds, eagles and others, they can keep on flying all the time. There are birds which migrate from North Pole to South Pole also. They can fly across the poles without any fuel. So, Prabhupada said there is nothing great about it. And Prabhupada said, okay, man is making a big plane, but can he make a mosquito? Because God's greatness is not one-sided, it is two-sided. He said, God makes huge things, He also makes very small things also. He said. So, in this way, Prabhupada would observe the nature and decode and teach people how to see the hand of Krishna in every walk of life, wherever we turn around. So, in this way, this is actually called as an indirect understanding of Krishna. So, we can begin with indirect, we can also use it in preaching and increase our understanding. And then with that understanding, gradually we will become more interested in Shastras. In Shastras, we can memorize slokas. See, I was telling you about the dust particles from Krishna's lotus feet. You also should know the secret, where you can get it from. So with that I will conclude the class. So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prithu Maharaj is telling a beautiful verse. Varan vibhostvat paradeshwarat buddha katam vrinite guna vikriyatmanam yenarakanam api santi dehinam tanisha kaivalyapate vrinenacha. Is telling Lord Narayana, oh my dear Lord, I don't want to go to even heaven. What are these petty pleasures of the material world? These are available even for those in hell, he is telling. You are a Kaivalyapati. Why should I ask for going to heaven? Then Lord Narayana is asking, oh, you call me a Kaivalyapati? That means you want to merge in Brahman? He is asking. Then he is telling, na kama ye nata tadapyaham kvachin. I don't want to go to that Brahmajyoti also, my dear Lord, he says. Why? Nayatra yushmat charanam bujasavaha. In that Brahmajyoti, there is no Krishna Katha going on there. There is no activity. There is only Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That's all there. So, how many of you want Shanti here? Raise a hand. We have only one, two. Some fellows are a little doubtful. See, you want Shanti or you want Prem? See, Shanti is a subset of Prem. For example, see, one day a husband and wife had a quarrel in a home. And then wife said, you stay in that room, I'll stay in this room. Don't talk. Let us stop talking. So morning she will cook in the kitchen and keep a tiffin box. Prasadam here, eat and go. Like that. And that fellow will come from the office in the evening and on her table he'll keep the salary pack and say, my monthly salary pack here, keep it in the bureau. Like that. So they were writing like that. First 2-3 days they were very jolly that, no more quarrel, no more shouting, no more fight. They were very peaceful. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. They're thinking like that. But after 3 days, life was very boring. So they were thinking that, this is not so great, this Shanti. Earlier, even if there is a little fight also, talking to each other is more pleasing. Then they decided to get promotion from Shanti to Prem after that. Yeah. Similarly, Jnanis also, they go to Brahma Jyoti and they get bored with Shanti and come to this world. Later on they become Bhaktas and then they go to Vaikuntha, where one can experience Prem. Isn't it? So he is saying, na kama ye nata tadapyaham kvachin na yatra yushmat charanam bujasavah. There is no Krishna Katha there in Brahma Jyoti, is telling. Mahattamantar hridayan mukachyuto vidatsvakarana yutame shame varehi, is telling the pure devotees of Krishna, from their hearts, which are like lotuses, when the hearts blossom, when they relish the pastimes of the Lord, then from that lotus comes the honey from their mouths. And that honey, carrying the dust particles from Krishna's lotus feet, that honey is dripping from their mouth and it enters into the ears. And those who hear this Krishna Katha from Mahatmas is saying, when one hears that, what happens? That he tells in the next verse. But here he has given the secret. What is the secret? Is telling, if you want Krishna's dust particles from his lotus feet, you can only get it from the sound vibration emanated by great devotees of the Lord. In that sound vibration, those dust particles are there. You have to capture it by attentively hearing them. He's telling. Sa uttama shloka mahanmukachito bhavat padamboja sudha kananilaha smatim punar vismrita tatpavartmanam kuyoginam no vidaratyalamvare. He is telling, Sa uttama shloka mahanmukachito. From the Mahatma's mukham, mouth, when it emanates, he is telling, bhavat padamboja sudha kana anilaha, like a wind carrying the fragrance of a jasmine flower. When you smell it, you get that fragrance from another room. Similarly, the Krishna Katha emanating from the devotees is telling, by hearing it, what happens? The Vismriti goes away, is telling. Now, Punah Smriti, the remembrance of Krishna consciousness again is awakened. All of you think about your life before coming to Krishna consciousness. How much we were in forgetfulness. We were delighting in Maya, foolishly. But then somebody, when the Lord sees that my devotee is wandering in this world uselessly, wasting time, then if there is a book distributor on the other side of the road, as Lord in the heart, he will tell him, hey, cross the road. Then that fellow will cross the road. Show a book to this fellow. Then you show the book to this fellow. And the Lord in the heart of the fellow who is seeing the book, he will say, this is a very good book, take it. He will say. Then he will immediately take out the money and give it and take the book. When he goes and keeps in the cupboard, Lord will say, don't keep it in the cupboard, read it. Use the instruction like that. Then he reads it. Then he comes to temple. In this way, when there is a little sincerity in our heart, we go and sit down. That's why in South India there is a saying, if you go to any temple, you should not immediately go back. After the darshan, you should sit for some time. Like the reason why we are told to sit is, there may be some Bhagavad Katha going on. Something will go into the ears. Some one or two good things will go. That is the whole idea. Otherwise people are only ritualistic. They may just go to temple, see this, see that, and they may go away. They have to sit down and hear. That's why the habit of sitting is kept. So, he says that by hearing the Katha, the Vismriti goes away, and Punarsmriti, Krishna Bhavanamritam, is re-established in the heart of the devotee, he is saying. This is actually the secret that Prithu Maharaj is revealing, that one should, actually initially we should chant attentively. When our hearts become pure, then the Krishna Katha will make more sense. The purer we become, the more relishable the Katha will be. And in that Katha, all the qualities of Krishna will become manifest. How he has Bhakta Vatsalyata, he has Karunyata, he has Dinabandhuta, he has Apad Bandhavata, Anadarakshata, so many qualities of Krishna. They all become manifest in the Katha. And by hearing them, remembering them, relishing them, repeating to others, there will be admiration for Krishna. That's the first step. When there is admiration, then we appreciate Krishna openly with the mouth. Then we develop liking for Krishna. Then we love Krishna. Love for Krishna is a far-fetched thing. That is why there is Shravana Dasha, Varana Dasha, and there is Hanusmati and Sampati Dasha. There are different levels, it is said. So, before we come to Nishtha Bhakti, Nishtita Bhakti, our Smaranam means hearing the holy names attentively, till we come to Nishtha. Beyond the Nishtha stage, Smaranam means as soon as the devotee chants Krishna's names, immediately Krishna will pop out from that name. Krishna's form will come, immediately. Just like imagine you are hearing somebody on phone, say your mother or father is talking on phone to you. When you hear that voice, immediately their form pops up in your mind. How many of you feel that? You've seen that? Correct? Yeah. Because we have some attachment for them, that form pops up. Similarly, when we come to the Nishtha stage, when as soon as we chant Hare Krishna, immediately the form of Krishna manifests. And when one comes to Bhava stage, similarly, once Krishna's qualities, Krishna's activities, his pastimes become a constant phenomenon for the chanting devotee. And in this way, then chanting becomes tasty, relishable. One looks forward to chant. One thinks, oh, I got to chant today. I got to chant extra rounds. I love to chant, rather than thinking, I have to chant. I am forced to chant. What to do? By mistake, I am initiated. I have to chant. One should, one doesn't think like that. So in this way, so while preparing for this topic on Smaranam, I took help of Shuddha Bhakta Chintamani by His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj, and also Vaishnava Compassion by His Holiness Satsubhadas Maharaj. So, in conclusion, for Smaranam, practice of Smaranam, so three things he says. Preliminary qualification is Shravanam about Krishna and personal application in our lives. And second thing he says is the proper cultivation, which is 64 items, and also, as I told you, memorizing shlokas and songs and prayers and having Shastra Chakshu and reflecting and remembering and also sharing with other devotees and discussing about them. And also by doing devotional service. When we do seva, by seva, sevonmukhehi, jihvado swayameva suratyada. By service, our heart becomes cleaned also. By entering seva and all these things. So we can understand the importance of reading and hearing, how important it is. Sometimes in our movement, the older devotees become, gradually they get used to the bad habit of not reading. That becomes like a regular habit. We cultivate the habit of not reading. And the younger new devotees are too much busily preoccupied with seva, too much service. So one has to understand the vital importance of hearing. And besides this, the second point about proper cultivation of these items, he is telling thinking of Krishna directly and indirectly, which I told you now. Indirectly thinking of Krishna means, how physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, in every level Krishna is supporting by seeing the hand of Krishna in this world around. And directly means Krishna's Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela, all these things. So remembering. So we'll sing one beautiful song. Mama mana mandire rahane se de Krishna Murari, Krishna Murari, Mama mana mandire rahane se de Krishna Murari, Sri Krishna Murari. Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan, Bhakti Tumi Niyo Hai Niyo Chittanandan. Jivana Marana Tava Puja Nivedan, Jivana Marana Tava Sundara He Manahari, Yesonanda Kumar, Arnanda Kumar, Nanda Kumar, Prema Pradipe Arati Tomar, Nayana Yamuna Jarayanivar, Tomara Virahe Giridhari, Vandana Gane Tava Bhajug Jivan, Krishna Murari, Sri Krishna Murari, Vandana Gane Tava Bhajug Jivan, Krishna Murari. See, this song why I sang now, this is one most vital aspect of Smaranam. If you want to quickly go from Shravanam and Kirtanam to Smaranam, there is one big secret which is prayer. When we learn to offer prayer, there can be many types of prayers. For example, we can beg Krishna, please Krishna, let me be able to chant the holy name attentively. Please Krishna, help me to get rid of my dirty thoughts in my mind. Please Krishna, help me give up my laziness in spiritual life. Please, Krishna, help me develop interest in you. Please, Krishna, help me to make my limbs serve you with my hands and legs. Let me not, please, Krishna, let me not be careless of Maya. So these are the kind of initial prayers. It can be babyish prayers also, which we can offer. And then, as we keep offering these prayers, later on one can offer prayers for aspiring for seva also. Like here he says, Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan Tumi Niyo He Niyo Chittanandan. Oh, delighter of the hearts, Krishna, accept these offerings which I am giving you. I am offering you a lamplight of my love. Please accept it. So in this way, even Tulasi Arati we sing every day, that also is aspiration for service. Seva, Abhilash. For that we can offer prayer also. Then we can also offer prayer to all spiritual personalities like the Guru, Srila Prabhupada, all the Paramparacharyas, and the divine couple, to Tulasi, to Govardhan, to Yamuna, to the cows of Vrindavan, to all the residents of Vrindavan. We can offer prayers, many, many prayers available. So by reciting these prayers and begging for their mercy and begging for the blessings and begging the Lord for purifying us, and we have to tell Krishna that actually you are the person who gives Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Jnanam, Apohanam, Smriti, they are all given by you only. So how can I progress without your support? Please help me. Even if I have to live in hell, I won't mind, provided I can remember you. Like you see, when Chatush Kumar has cursed Jai Vijay fell at their feet and caught hold of their feet and said, we don't mind becoming demons in 3 lifetimes, sirs, but we have a request for you. Even if we become a demon, we should not forget Lord Vishnu even for a moment. That's the only boon they asked. So we want only Smaranam, Smriti. So this is the prayer of all great devotees. Like Kulashekara is saying, Mukunda Murdna Pranipatya Yache Bhavantam Ekantam Yantamartham Avismritis Tacharanaravinde Bhave Bhave Mestu Bhavat Prasadat is telling. Birth after birth, let me do Smaranam of you. Let me not forget you. Because if I remember you, I am with you. That's all. So I only want to remember you. Just like Kunti is telling, Bhavato Darshanam Yatsyad Apunarbhava Darshanam. She's telling, my dear Krishna, once I asked a question to a group of devotees, you want trouble plus Krishna or no trouble, no Krishna? Which one you want? Yeah. So what Kunti Maharani wanted? Give me troubles in my life so that you will also be present. So one boy raised hand and said, Prabhuji, I want no trouble and Krishna. But here Kunti Maharani says, you give me any amount of trouble, no problem. But like when the Kurukshetra war was there, you were with us. When we were in the jungle, you were with us. But now that everything is over, we are ruling the whole world, you are going away. Better you give us troubles, and to solve those troubles, you also be with us. Like that is telling. Yeah. Actually, this is a very advanced verse that she is praying. We cannot pray like her. But how is she able to pray like this? You see, once a small 3rd standard boy, while playing cricket, he got hurt in the knee. He was taken to a hospital where the nurse nursed him so well, putting bandage and everything. This boy was a motherless boy, you see. And then when she was nursing him, very kindly, very compassionately, he saw the mother's love in her. So now he went back home, remembering her. Now another 3-4 months passed. Again when they were playing cricket, he was telling his friends, I wish I get a wound on this leg today. And his friends were asking, are you foolish? Last time you got a wound, we took you to hospital. Why do you aspire for a wound? So I asked this question in a group of congregation. One small boy was sitting. Immediately he raised a hand and said, small kid, 2nd standard boy. He raised a hand. I asked, what is your answer? He said, Maa ka pyar. He said, Maa ka pyar chahiye usko. He was telling. So why that boy wanted to go to hospital 2nd time? Because he wanted to taste the love of the mother, which he was lacking in his life. Correct, no? Similarly, Kunti is telling, she has tasted Krishna's association. Now when Krishna is going away, she is telling, Krishna, it is better to have your association with troubles, because troubles are insignificant, whereas your association is oceanic, and we will be very happy in your association, like that she is telling. So, in this way, 3 things I told you. Preliminary qualification is Shravanam about Krishna, and 2nd thing was proper cultivation like 64 items and Bodhainda Parasparam and all those things by service and everything. And the 3rd one is austere way of life. Austere way of life is, you can read 17 point, I think 15 or 16th verse, Bhagavad Gita. What are the austerities of the mind? Manaprasada saumyatvam, maunam atma vinigraha, bhava samshuddhirityeta, tapamana samuchite. I didn't elaborate on that today. That you can read the Bhagavad Gita verse. We should practice those austerities, they are saying, of the mind. And if we do them, along with that, if we learn to offer prayers to Krishna, actually, if we offer prayer and draw Krishna's attention, we will make a faster progress than endeavoring ourselves, alone, all alone. And thinking of Krishna directly and indirectly. When we do these things, then the Smaranam will increase. And Smaranam is only possible when we purify our mind. Because in an impure mind, Krishna doesn't agree to come. So, those who are really serious about going back to Godhead should make persistent efforts to cross the stage of Anartha Nivritti and come to this stage of Nishtha. And in Nishtha Bhakti onwards, one gets tremendous help from Krishna. Nishtha, Ruchi, Rati, Bhava, Prema and all those stages. But the Anartha Nivritti is a combined effort by the individual endeavor of the sadhaka and the grace of Guru and Krishna. So Krishna gives blessings, Guru gives guidance, and the sadhaka puts endeavor, and the combined result is Smaranam in Krishna. So one verse I will chant and I will conclude the verse, conclude the class today. Krishna Tvadeya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kavavata Pittaihi Kantavarodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. This is a famous verse by Kulashekara, where he says, my dear Lord Krishna, just as the swans delight in sporting in waters where there are beautiful lotuses, they intertwine their necks with the lotus stems and they delight in smelling the fragrance of the lotus. Similarly, let my mind be intertwined with your lotus feet and relish the dust of your lotus feet always in my life. And while I am young, hale and healthy, take my life away and take me to your eternal service. So that in my old age, when my mucus and sputum and phlegm and everything will be blocking my throat, how will I be able to remember you at the time of death in my old age? So better when my mind is fresh and young and I'm remembering you, you take me to your lotus feet. So Srila Prabhupada used to recite this verse often and tell the devotees that how in this world death can come at any time, and one should prepare one's consciousness in such a manner that our minds and hearts are filled with fond remembrance of Krishna and aspirations to serve the divine couple Sri Radha and Krishna. Then we are rightly situated because such a mind, you are where your mind is. If our mind is in Krishna's lotus feet, we are in Krishna's lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Devotees are kindly requested to be seated. There's a small video that's going to be played on the screen.